Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of The Fad Show. So on this episode, I just want to give you an update of the status of my Saab 9.3 Aero wagon, because yet again, it is very broken in multiple ways. Ever since I fixed the car, replacing the clutch and everything that I thought was wrong with it, it made about 3 or 4 weeks, and now it's completely dead. And I guess there was the coil pack thing where I fixed that and drove it again once, and then it died. So on this episode, I'm just gonna go inside and hang out in the garage, so I'm not standing out here in the sun and the noise, and talk about the things that are broke and what I plan to do to fix it. All right, so I'm in the Fad Show garage. I think it's time to drown my sorrows with a cold beer. Because all my hard work was pretty much for nothing, and now I need to do more work. And also it's starting to get really hot in North Texas right now. So what happened? Well, I think in my last video I kind of alluded to the fact that I had some issues redoing the ECU connection when I was changing the coil packs. So what happened is I'll try to include as many pictures as I can, so this is a little bit more. I'll try to include as many pictures as I can, so this is a little bit more engaging video than me just talking. But one of the tiny little, I think, copper pins for the ECU connector, I noticed it was broken off when I first took the ECU off to do my coil packs, and it kind of threw me for a loop. I didn't really know what to do. I thought that maybe it was just like a dead connection where didn't actually go to anything, and it would be all right, or I could just put it back in place on the female connector and it would make up. So the first time I tried starting the car after replacing the coil packs, it didn't start. So I knew that it was probably something important. And I'm guessing it's maybe one of the CAN bus connectors. I haven't actually found a pinout diagram, because there's zero communication between the body module and the engine module when it's not making a good connection. So I was able to basically use a pair of needle nose pliers, position in the female end, do up the connector. And that worked for a little bit. I drove it once, and then the next time I went to drive it, same thing happened again where it was completely dead. I tried that a second time, and now I've driven it like 3 times, and it seems to be working, but obviously this is not something I want to leave long term, because it is my daily driver and I want to be able to rely on it. And I drive like 36 miles to work, and my AAA range is 25 miles, plus obviously that's not something I want to deal with after a long day at work or whatever, having a car that doesn't start and having to take my ECU off. So what I found I'm open to suggestions if you guys had something similar happen to you, or if you have any recommendations. But what I found was this kit on Amazon that has this silver epoxy that's supposed to be conductive. So my plan is to just take the pin with a pair of tweezers and needle nose pliers, just put a dab of this epoxy on it, and then try and hold it in place in this tiny little spot, because I can't solder it because it's too close to the other pins. Hold it in place long enough for it to make up, and hopefully that will be strong enough to hold it, because I think once the connector is on, it's probably not going to move around much. So I think that might fix it. I also had the idea of just taking a tiny piece of shrink wrap once I get that epoxy on there, and then it's pretty much broken off close to the bottom. So just putting a tiny piece of heat shrink and then heat shrinking it just to give it a little bit more strength. I don't know. These are the only ideas I have, because the new ECUs, the cheapest I found them for, are $950, and I don't really want to spend that money. I've seen them as much as $1,500 depending where you shop around from. Also, mine is a 2006, so apparently there's 1 year that it had a different ECU than the other B284 years. So it's going to be kind of hard to find a used one. And then also, if I find a used one, I'm not sure if it needs to be coated for the vehicle. I haven't really found a good answer for that. Some people say maybe, from basically whatever on the forums. But anyways, that's the first thing I'm dealing with. The second thing, I drove the car this morning to go pick something up in my neighborhood, and when I got home I noticed it was pissing coolant from the passenger side. So I think it's the water pump, because I can see it running down. It almost looks like it's coming out of the crankchassis a little bit. I think that's just where it's running down the front of the block and tripping on the ground, which luckily enough, it looks like a pretty easy job to replace the water pump on one of these, and it's a GM parts bin water pump. So I ordered just an AC Delco one off of Amazon that was pretty cheap. So hopefully that will be a quick fix. And then the last thing that has also gone wrong with it is, for some reason, the car alarm has just been randomly going off constantly. It doesn't really matter if the car's locked or unlocked. It's just weird. It wasn't doing it before, and it seems to do it like the same time every day, like 9 o'clock in the morning for some reason, which is really weird. So from looking around on the forums briefly, it seems like there's an alarm module battery or something that goes dead and causes them to do this. So this issue I haven't looked into at all. It's just it's kind of annoying, but other than that, something I can live with. So I guess first try and fix the ECU, fix the coolant leak, and then I'll worry about that. I guess there's ways you can, again, do some pretty precarious soldering to put in like your own battery pack, because I guess there's like an auxiliary battery for the alarm module in case your car battery dies or is disconnected, it still powers the alarm. So I guess I'll look into that, try and figure something out with that. But these are all the things that are wrong with the car. Kind of sucks. I did actually like driving the car for the little bit that I did, and it also kind of sucks when you spend like 3 months working on a car or 2 months working on a car, and then you finally get to drive it, and then it just breaks right again on you. I don't have a very good history with Saabs. Everyone says they're good cars. I really like them. I like the way they drive, but both Saabs I've had have been a complete nightmare when it comes to reliability. But I'm so far deep in the project, I can't back out now, so gotta fix it. So maybe next time I'll be working on some of that. I don't know. I'm also taking the 911 on a road trip soon at the end of May, which is gonna hinder my time to work on the Saab. And then also I want to make some videos. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna make it videos, but I have to get ready to go on a road trip. And then I'm obviously gonna make a video when we go on the road trip. It's gonna be pretty awesome driving up the Pacific Coast Highway. So that will be coming up soon. So that's it on this episode. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. If you have any suggestions for fixing the car, please put them in the comments below, and stay tuned for the next video on the Saab when I'm actually working on that. And as always, if you like my content, go ahead and like and subscribe so I can share it with more people. All right, thank you. Have a good day. Bye.